How to survive a narcissistic husband, signs, abuse, and toxic relationship recovery. Have you ever felt small in your own home? Even though you are married to someone who claims to love you, you might find yourself feeling perpetually insecure. He asks you to trust him, yet you struggle to do so. He tells you that everything he does is for your own good, and yet you feel increasingly lost. Sometimes he embraces you tenderly. Other times, he ignores you as if you don't exist. With a narcissistic husband, days can begin with promises and end with accusations. Today, he tells you that you are special, and tomorrow, he reminds you of everything you supposedly do wrong. You never know which version of him you'll encounter, and so, day by day, you dim your own light. It's a subtle dynamic, confusing, and that's precisely why it's so hard to recognize. But there are signs. There are recurring behaviors, hurtful phrases, attitudes that make you doubt yourself and justify the unjustifiable. Stay with us until the end of this video, because today we will help you see clearly. Together, we will explore the 10 most devastating and painful behaviors that a narcissistic husband can exhibit against his wife. 10 precise, observable signals that repeatedly appear in toxic relationships and often go unnoticed until you truly begin to open your eyes. Because when you fully understand what you are experiencing, you stop justifying the unjustifiable. Are you ready to finally identify what once confused you? Stay with us until the end, because the last behavior might be the most revealing of all, and perhaps it's exactly what you are enduring right now. Subscribe now to Chosen One's Awakening, but only if you are truly ready to choose yourself, to break free, and to stop being trapped in this cycle of suffering. If you are listening out of mere curiosity, or if you just want to know without ever taking action, this channel is not for you. There's no point in staying here to gather information if you lack the courage to take the first step towards your freedom. This is the channel of solutions. Because here we don't just give you answers, we empower you to break free, to push forward and not remain where you are. If, on the other hand, you feel ready, then write in the comments, "I choose me," and get ready to receive the free PDF that will help you take the first concrete step towards escaping this spiral of pain. First behavior: infidelity and the betrayal of trust. What drives a narcissistic husband to cheat? It's not just a question of desire or dissatisfaction. It's a dynamic of power, control, humiliation. Infidelity for him is a way to keep you in a constant state of insecurity. You never know what he's doing, who he's talking to, what he's hiding from you. And every time you discover something, he shifts the blame onto you. He says you're too jealous, too controlling, too insecure. How many times have you found yourself justifying the unjustifiable? How many nights have you spent wondering if you're the one exaggerating, or if he's really doing something wrong? The narcissistic husband plays with your trust, and he does it knowing that each betrayal of his breaks you a little more. Second behavior: constant devaluation and humiliating comparison with other women. At first, he made you feel special, unique, indispensable. But now, every opportunity is good to compare you to other women. He compares you to his exes, to colleagues, to friends, even to women passing by on the street. He does it in the most intimate moments, just when you would like to feel welcomed, desired. Instead, you find yourself hearing names, stories, details that hurt you. He does it in front of others, with biting jokes, with disapproving looks. with comparisons that embarrass you, that humiliate you, and that make you ask yourself, why does he do this? What's wrong with me? You start to doubt your appearance, your value, your femininity. You find yourself thinking that maybe, if you were more beautiful, more intelligent, more interesting, he would stop treating you like this. Third behavior: punitive silences and humiliating expectations. But the truth is different. This constant devaluation has nothing to do with you. It's just a tool of control, a way to destroy your self-esteem and keep you weaker and weaker, more and more dependent on him. Suddenly, emptiness. He ignores you completely. He doesn't talk to you. He doesn't look at you. He doesn't even answer a simple question of yours. Hours pass, days, sometimes weeks, and you remain there, waiting for a sign, a word, a gesture that makes you feel alive again in his eyes. You find yourself wondering what you did wrong. You think back to every sentence you said, every gesture you made. You look for a reason, an explanation. But there isn't one. There never is. And then there are those times when he tells you clearly, "I'll talk tomorrow. See you at 7. I'll pick you up." Or, "Wait for me there. I'll be right there." And you wait. You wait for hours. You stay with the phone in your hand. You look out the window. You get ready, but he doesn't come. He doesn't call. He doesn't warn you. He doesn't show up. And you stay there, motionless, with that feeling of having been left aside, as if your time had no value, as if your feelings didn't count for anything. How many times has this happened to you? How many times have you felt humiliated, disappointed, empty? The narcissistic husband uses silence and absence as weapons to hurt you, to make you feel smaller and smaller and more dependent on his gesture, on his word, on his attention. Fourth behavior: broken promises and false hopes. He promises you he will change. He swears that tomorrow everything will be different. He tells you that he realizes how much he is making you suffer, that he has finally understood, that he doesn't want to lose you anymore. And you believe it. You get him another chance, and another, because deep down you hope. You really hope that this time it's the right one. But then, everything goes back to the way it was before. Every promise he made to you dissolves into thin air, as if it never existed. He told you that you would spend more time together, that he would stop raising his voice, that he would respect you more. And instead, he continues to treat you the same way he always has. You find yourself hoping, deceiving yourself, justifying him. You tell yourself that maybe he needs time, that maybe he is really making an effort. But deep down, you feel it. You know that those promises are worthless. Have you ever wondered how many times you have heard the same words? How many times have you gone through the same cycle of promises, hopes, and new disappointments? With a narcissistic husband, every promise is just another tool of control, a way to keep you tied down and keep you from walking away. Fifth behavior: chronic blaming. No matter what happens, it's always your fault. If he's nervous, it's your fault because you stressed him out. If something goes wrong at work, it's your fault because you didn't support him enough. If he argues with someone, it's because you provoked him first. Even when it's not related to anything, he always manages to find a fault with you. And it's not just direct accusations. Sometimes he does it with innuendos, with heavy silences, with ambiguous sentences that make you feel guilty, even when you know you haven't done anything wrong. It makes you apologize, to ask for forgiveness, to constantly feel like you're wrong. It makes you believe that if he behaves badly, it's because you don't understand him, because you exasperate him, because you're never careful enough. Have you ever wondered why, even in the moments when you just want to be at peace, you still end up feeling wrong? The truth is that the narcissistic husband needs a scapegoat, and you are his perfect victim. But before I reveal the next behavior, if you want to give us a super thank you, do it now by clicking on the appropriate button below. It's the best way to support our work and allow us to continue creating content like this that helps you get out of it and find yourself again. And if you are just listening without really committing yourself, maybe it's time to close the video and leave space for those who are ready to truly change. But if instead you feel inside that the time has come to say enough, write immediately in the comments, "I choose me," and prepare to receive as a gift the free PDF that will help you take the first concrete step to escape this spiral of pain. And now let's continue. Sixth behavior: emotional and social isolation. At first, he seemed sweet, caring, almost jealous in a tender way. He told you he wanted to protect you, that you were better off alone with him, that others didn't really understand you. And so, little by little, he distanced you from everything and everyone. Friends, they weren't good. Family, too intrusive. Going out, dangerous. Every external connection you had became a reason for discussion, accusations, arguments. And you, to avoid conflict, you started cutting, reducing, staying more and more locked up at home, more and more alone. And then, that habit of his of never letting you plan anything, everything, always decided at the last minute. Every invitation, every outing, every appointment, always improvised, always under his control. So, it becomes impossible to organize yourself with others. It becomes difficult to maintain friendships because no one wants to wait for his convenience or suffer his last-minute cancellations. And so, little by little, even those who loved you begin to distance themselves, tired of always hearing, "I can't," "I don't know," "I have to see if he agrees." And you find yourself alone, once again, increasingly dependent on him. This is one of the most dangerous strategies of the narcissistic husband, because the more alone you are, the easier it is to control you. Seventh behavior: sudden and uncontrollable anger. Everything seems calm. Then, without warning, he explodes. An innocent comment, a simple question, a normal gesture are enough to unleash an uncontrollable rage in him. He yells at you, accuses you, threatens you, maybe breaks objects, or slams doors violently. And the worst part, right after, he acts like nothing happened. Maybe he asks you what's wrong, as if you were the problem, as if you were the one who was exaggerated, the one who can't accept an outburst. And so, you find yourself justifying him, telling yourself that he's just stressed, that he had a bad day, that deep down, he's not bad. But deep down, you know that that anger, that fear he puts on you is not normal. You know that you start to tiptoe, that you weigh every word, that you find yourself controlling everything you do, just to avoid another explosion. Have you ever noticed how much anxiety you're experiencing, just to try to keep him calm? 8th behavior: gaslighting and reality manipulation. You start to wonder if you're the one who's remembering wrong, if things really happened the way you think, or if you're making it all up. He tells you that you're exaggerating, that you're too sensitive, that you see problems where there aren't any. He makes you believe that you're the unstable one, the one who's too emotional, the one who always misunderstands everything. He confuses you. He destabilizes you. He makes you doubt your every perception. One day, he tells you something. The next day, he denies ever having said it. He promises you something, and then claims that you imagined it all. He makes you look like a lunatic, obsessive, out of control. And the more he throws this distorted image of yourself at you, the more you start to believe it. You find yourself apologizing, questioning yourself, even doubting your own thoughts. Have you ever noticed how difficult it has become for you to distinguish what is real and what is not? This is one of the most destructive techniques of the narcissistic husband, because it undermines your identity, takes away all your certainties, and makes you increasingly fragile, increasingly easier to control. 9th behavior: projection and inversion of blame. When you try to point out his bad behavior, he turns it all on you. If you accuse him of lying, he accuses you of being the liar. If you tell him he's manipulating you, he tells you that you're the one manipulating him. If you point out how much he hurts you, he tells you that you're the one hurting him, that you're cold, distant, selfish. Projection is one of the narcissistic husband's most subtle weapons. He forces you to defend yourself from accusations that make no sense. He pushes you to spend hours, days, trying to explain yourself, to clarify, to prove that you're not how he describes you. But the more you try to explain yourself, the more he traps you in his web of lies. The more tired you get, the more empty you become. And in the end, you find yourself having doubts even about yourself, wondering if maybe, really, you're the one who's wrong. Have you ever wondered how much emotional energy you have already wasted responding to these senseless accusations? How many times have you felt the need to justify yourself, when in fact, you were the victim? This reversal of blame is not accidental. It is a precise way to continue to control you, to make you feel confused, guilty, and unable to react. Now that you have clearly seen these 9 behaviors, the real question is, what do you want to do for yourself? Do you want to continue being trapped in this spiral of pain, justifying, enduring, hoping he will change? Or do you want to finally choose yourself, start rebuilding your strength, and break free from this emotional cage? If you feel that all of this resonates with you, don't just stand by and watch. Subscribe now to Chosen One's Awakening. And hit the notification bell so you won't miss our upcoming videos. And most importantly, if you truly want to begin your healing journey, find a link in the description to receive the free PDF, the first concrete tool to rediscover yourself and start living again. You are not alone here. You are not condemned to stay where you are. Here, you can begin to rise again.